Okay, I'm back. My name's Gary. I'm an alcoholic. I'm an addict. And I made a video or two here now, two videos. And in those videos, I talk about sobriety and getting sober. And I'm newly sober. And I just want to spread the news of how I did it. And I want to talk. I don't want to scare anybody away, but I want to talk a little bit about God. You know, we all have our own understanding of God. You have yours, I have mine. Okay? I don't want to get into all, I don't want to get into religion. I don't want to get into, you know, I got more time and, hey, you don't know anything because you fucking only got 101 days or whatever. Whatever. Just for the new people trying this thing out that can't seem to get sober, I'm just telling you how I did it, right? I had an experience. I've been through this before. I had a long period of sobriety, and I got away from God. I got away from AA. I got away from prayer, and I ended up fucked up again. Got into some self-pity. I was pissed at God. How dare you do this to me? I'm doing all the right things and you fucking ruined my life. Like, how dare you? Well, self-pity. Self. Me. I had an experience where I was madly in love with this woman. We were sober. She had 7 years. I think I had 4 years of sobriety. We were in a community of a lot of sober people. And we had this love affair. And it was passionate and it was crazy. Some of the stuff we learned together, we learned, about jealousy and possessiveness and, dealing with our own fears. And she would run to her sponsor, I'd run to mine. We'd do our writing and our prayer separately. And then we were able to have this life together that was just, it was amazing. And it's part of life that I learned so much about myself and how to treat someone else and how to get through jealousy and possessiveness and how to love somebody without conditions, without tying a bunch of conditions around it. And it was hard, but it was a beautiful experience. Well, one day, I don't need to get into the details, but we went to dinner. She had an allergy, and an hour later, she was in full cardiac arrest and stopped breathing in my arms. And went on life support for 3 days. And then she hadn't breathed for so long. It took like 28 minutes or so to get her to the hospital. And we had to unplug the machine. So she passed away a few days later. That was in February of 2005. And although I look back on that, probably the most painful experience I've ever been through in my life. I was really close to God in that time in my life, and I look at, if I look at my, the picture of my whole life, there's times where I've been close and times where I've drifted away, and those times I've drifted away have been hard times. But those times I was close to him and spoke to him on a daily basis and felt his love and tried to spread the same love, I did better. Those were good times. And although this was one of the hardest times and most painful times in my life, it was also one of the most spiritual times in my life. And here's how great that power is. I was just thinking of this story. We had just unplugged the machine, and I believe it was the day we had done that. If it wasn't that day, it was the next day. And I would call my best friend, who was my sponsor at the time. He's my sponsor now. And he would just listen to me cry. I would call him and just weep. It would just come out of me. I couldn't control it. I couldn't believe my body would make those wailing, sad cries. I mean, I was just going through it, man. And he said, Gary, I know. He would just listen. And then that day in particular, he knew I was suffering. I know he was worried about me. And he said, Gary, this is going to be the last thing you want to hear right now. But you gave me license to help guide you on this journey that we're on together, called Sobriety. And I want you to get on your knees and ask God to put somebody in your life that needs you. And I remember thinking, I'm a fucking basket case. Who in the fuck would need me? But I was so willing to not feel the way I was feeling that I hung up the phone with him, and I did exactly that. I got on my knees. I think I was already on my knees I remember I was on the couch talking to him, but I was on my knees and like leaning over the couch. You know, I was on my knees on the carpet and then like leaning over the couch talking to him in just a puddle of tears. And I meant what I said. I said, God, please put somebody in my life that I can help. Please make me useful. I hung up the phone and I went out. I lived in an apartment in Irvine, California at the time. It was actually Tustin Ranch, same thing, right on the border. I went out on my patio, and it overlooked the swimming pool, and there was like kids jumping in and out of the pool, and you know, it wasn't like a normal Saturday or whatever. And I again asked God, please put somebody in my life that needs me, that I could help. I swear to God, at that moment, my phone rang. And I'm not gonna say names or anything like that, but this guy calls we kind of knew each other from meetings. We didn't know each other well. We didn't hang out with each other or anything like that. He knew who I was. I knew who he was. But he called me and he goes, Gary? And I said, yeah. And he says, Gary, I can't do this anymore. I said, do what? And he said, I just can't do life anymore. I'm gonna kill myself. And I said, well, I get it, man. I understand. I don't want to kill myself right now, but I've never been in this kind of pain. I don't know how to deal with it. And he said, well, what's going on? And I said, well, you know, Elizabeth just died. And he said, you're Gary? I was calling the other Gary. He called me by mistake. have a mutual friend, Gary, but he was calling that guy. But he called me. And I believe because I asked God how to put somebody in my life that needs me. He misdialed his fucking phone and called me. And I said, I understand. I didn't say, oh, don't kill yourself. You know, I just don't think, I'm not a fucking psychiatrist. I don't need to direct people on how to do their life. All I can do is, just like I'm doing with you, give you my experience. So I was honest with him and I told him where I was at. I said, well, Elizabeth just died, and he knew Elizabeth. And he said, oh my God, I meant to call the other Gary. He goes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call you. You must be in horrendous pain right now. And I said, I am. I said, just like you are. I said, here's what we'll do. Let's go on hour to hour with each other. In an hour, I'll call you, and we'll check in with each other. And then the next hour, you call me. And we did that for several hours. And we got through the day and the next day together. Two guys in pain, not judging each other, didn't really know each other that well, but we shared this common bond called addiction, alcoholism, the way that you think he's going to do it. He's going to do it in his own way. And it's going to be 10 times better than anything you could think of. Just let it go, man. You know, let it go. Whatever you, if you're, here, if you don't believe in God, I said it before, ask yourself honestly, look in the mirror and say, okay, I'm a non-believer. How's this working out for me so far? Let me try it from that believer, right, that's making the video, and he's got that 101 days of sobriety, and he's tooting up a storm here. He's fucking tooting up this God shit. And I'm doing it because that's what saved my life. I asked God for help. And I do it not every day because I don't remember, okay? But every chance I get, every chance I remember, I say, God, please help me stay sober another day. And when I go to bed at night, God, thank you for my sobriety. And then I go live my life. I go to meetings, not as many as I should. I do life real imperfectly. I do AA imperfectly. I do sobriety imperfectly. But you know what? I have this perfect life. I want that for you. I promise you it's available to you. Get on your knees. We're going to do the 5-day God challenge, right? Get on your knees for 5 minutes, 5 days in a row. Ask God for help and watch the little miracles he puts in your life. Watch the little things that he does for you. It's available to you. It's available to everyone. All you have to do is take the action. You don't have to believe. Fake it till you make it. But you got to get on your knees and you have to ask that God help you. The God we don't understand. We don't understand how God works. If you're angry and you say, how could there be a God? Children are dying. Children are getting raped every day. You know, horrific things happen in this world. Look, man, I don't know. I don't know. But while I'm in this world, I want to live a productive, happy life. And I know that the only way that I can do that is when I'm talking to God, being kind to others, asking weird shit like, God, please put somebody in my life that needs me. What the fuck is that? Me? Saying me doing something like that? Are you kidding me? But when I do shit like that, that's totally out of character for me. But when I do that, I end up going to bed and fucking going, another day sober. Another day in the books. Didn't fuck anybody over today. Didn't wind up in handcuffs today. Didn't tell anybody to go fuck themselves today. Didn't lose a job today. But the most important thing is, I didn't drink and I didn't do drugs today. So I have a chance at the other stuff, like a job. You know, we're going to tell people to fuck off. I do. I've done it since I've been sober. Fuck you. But you know what? Thank God he doesn't strike us with lightning, you know, when we do shit like that. But if, you know, there's many times in my prayers at night I'll say, I'm sorry about calling that lady a fucking bitch. Sorry about telling that guy to fuck off. Sorry I gave that guy the finger on the road today. Try to make me better tomorrow. And if we do it humbly, even if we just do it and we're not humble about it, he just wants to see us go to him. This is not an easy thing to do, man. Addiction fucks people's lives up. It fucks everybody's life around you that loves you. Today, you can start your spiritual walk, your walk of sobriety, anytime you want. Sometimes it happens quickly, sometimes it happens slowly. This time I suffered a little bit. It didn't come instantly. I prayed and prayed. God, please help me get sober. God, please help me get sober. I wound up in El Paso, Texas, a wonderful place to be, on a Motel 6, and I had COVID. And I was just sick as fuck. And I was in bed for 5 days, and after 5 days I was like, holy shit, I'm sober 5 days. Fuck, that's what I've been praying for. He just gave me a head start. So I thought I was fucking screwed, man. I had COVID. Turned out to be the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. One of the greatest things that's ever happened to me. I have another shot at life. Go figure. This is available to you too. I'll check in with you guys in another day or so.